plants deserve more than a chemical diet. Give them the natural power of nature's living soil, packed with organic amendments and living microbes that feed the soil and fuel growth from the roots up. Stronger plants, bigger yields, better results. Shop natureslivingsoil.com and use code WWPGEN10 to get 10% off today. Nature's Living Soil. Feed the soil. Watch life flourish.
Good day, and welcome to WWP Genetics. We're thrilled that you have joined us for another engaging and educational video. Today, I will be discussing illegal to $1 billion industry, the Ohio cannabis story. In less than a year, Ohio did something that took other states a decade to accomplish. Recreational cannabis went from a ballot idea to $1 billion industry almost overnight. Since adult use sales officially launched in August of 2024, Ohio cannabis sales surged past $1 billion, reaching $1.09 billion in early January. That number alone forces a bigger question. How did Ohio get here? What does this mean for everyday residents, and where does all that money actually go? Cannabis in Ohio did not appear out of nowhere. For decades, marijuana existed in the shadows of the law. In the early 20th century, Ohio followed national trends and criminalized cannabis alongside other controlled substances. By the 1970s, possession of small amounts was decriminalized, but arrests and enforcement still disproportionately impacted working class and minority communities. For years, cannabis in Ohio lived in a legal gray zone. It was culturally accepted by many, yet officially condemned by state law. But everything began to change in 2016, when Ohio legalized medical cannabis. The program officially launched in 2019, and by then, patients were finally able to access regulated medical products. According to the state data, medical cannabis sales have now exceeded $2.2 billion since the program began. Law enforcement resources were spent policing possessions, while millions of dollars flowed into the underground markets with zero regulations, zero taxation, and zero consumer protections. This contradiction set the stage for reform, even as political leaders hesitated. In November 2023, Ohio voters approved adult use cannabis legalization. This vote marked a turning point. It signaled that Ohioans were ready for a regulated, tax, and accessible cannabis market. Less than a year later, in August 2024, recreational sales officially began. And from that moment, the market took off with extraordinary speed. Once recreational sales launched in August 2024, the numbers began climbing immediately. In the first 5 months alone, adult use sales generated more than $242 million. By the end of 2025, Ohio dispensaries have recorded more than $836 million in adult use sales, marking the state's first full year of legal recreational cannabis. Increased retail openings across the state help accelerate this growth, with adult use sales surpassing $700 million by August 2025. While recreational sales have dominated headlines, Ohio's medical cannabis program still continues to play a major role. Medical marijuana generated a steady tax revenue, it created thousands of jobs, and introduced lab testing. These are systems that did not exist before. Still, critics argue the program was too limited. Prices stayed high, access was uneven, and for many residents, the question remained, if cannabis is medicine for some, why is it still a crime for others? That question led directly to the ballot. In November of 2023, Ohio voters approved adult use cannabis through a citizen-led initiative. The measure legalized possession, home grow, and retail sales for adults 21 and older. Unlike states that rolled out recreational marijuana in stages, Ohio moved fast. By August of 2024, licensed dispensaries were already selling to recreational customers. Lines formed immediately. Some stores reported record-breaking first weeks, with demands far exceeding expectations. This wasn't just curiosity, this was years of pent-up demand finally moving into the legal economy. Medical cannabis laid the groundwork for the adult use market, establishing cultivation facilities, testing labs, and dispensary infrastructures long before recreational sales began. Local governments across Ohio have responded to the cannabis boom with a mix of enthusiasm and caution. Many cities have embraced the industry for its economic benefits, including job creation, increased tax revenue, and revitalization of commercial districts. Some municipalities have passed ordinances allowing dispensaries, cultivation sites, and processing facilities to operate within their borders. Others have taken a slow approach, opting to wait and observe. Here's the number that changed the conversation. Since recreational cannabis sales launched in August of 2024, Ohio's combined medical and adult use cannabis sales reached $1.09 billion by early January. That means in just a few months of recreational availability, Ohio became one of the fastest states to cross the billion-dollar threshold. This revenue reflects more than consumer spending. It represents a massive shift from illegal markets into regulated tax businesses. This level of growth typically takes states several years. Ohio did it in less than one. The cannabis industry has become a major employer in Ohio, with nearly 190 dual-use dispensaries now licensed to sell both medical and recreational cannabis. Thousands of jobs have been created across retail, cultivation, manufacturing, logistics, and compliance. These jobs range from budtenders and security staff to chemists, horticulturalists, and marketing professionals. The industry has become a lifeline for workers seeking stable employment in a growing field. Despite the financial success, concerns remain. Some lawmakers argue the rollout happened too fast. Others worry about youth access, impaired driving, and long-term public health impacts. There are also debates over tax rates, licensing caps, and social equity provisions. Supporters counter that regulation is the solution, not prohibition. They point out that legal cannabis allows education, enforcement, and transparency that legal markets never provided. Ohio now finds itself navigating the same growing pains experienced by every state that legalized it, only at a much faster pace. Ohio's cannabis industry is still in its early stages. As more dispensaries open, more cultivation facilities expand, and more consumers enter the market, the state is poised for continued growth. Analysts expect Ohio to become one of the largest cannabis markets in the Midwest, potentially rivaling states like Michigan and Illinois. The billion-dollar milestone is only the beginning. Ohio's cannabis story is a story of transformation, from prohibition to medical legalization, from medical to recreational, and now from recreational to a billion-dollar industry. The numbers are real, the jobs are real, the economic impact is real, and the future of cannabis in Ohio is brighter than ever. If you want to stay updated on the next chapter of Ohio's cannabis evolution, make sure you subscribe and drop a comment. The billion-dollar milestone is not the finish line, it's the starting point. As more dispensaries open, supply stabilizes, and consumer behavior normalizes, Ohio's cannabis market is expected to mature rather than slow down. Future decisions about tax allocations, licensing expansions, and social equity programs will shape how this industry affects communities in the long term. The question is no longer whether cannabis belongs in Ohio's economy. The question is how responsible and strategically the state manages its success. Whether you see it as an economic victory, a social experiment, or both, one thing is undeniable. Cannabis has officially become big business in the Buckeye State. We hope you found today's video educational. Don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share to stay updated on our latest content. For more exciting insights, be sure to check out our brother channel at WWP Logistics. See you in the next video.